Programme, what impact could cheaper land from Australia have on farmers in Kent and Sussex? How can the Labour Party win over voters in Hastings? And why are socially distant towns and cities still a nightmare for people with disabilities? Union. Now, clearly we don't know all the details of this. This is a real moving picture, David, with this deal. But explain to our viewers, what are the concerns you have about getting rid of these import taxes? What could that do to individual farmers here in the South East? To talk over you there, David, let's just bring the politics back into it, and the politicians are coming back in. But I've got one last question to you before we turn to them. The Prime Minister says you and other farmers should see free trade deals as not as threats, but as opportunities. What would you say to the Prime Minister?
I think he's absolutely right.
Enough of that shot. Oh dear. Lloyd Russell-Moyle, let's pick up on Peter Carr, your very near colleague, Labour MP, who says Labour talks too much about people at the bottom and not enough about those in the middle. Is he right?
Insurgent when you're in office, and Roger Gough did brilliantly in maintaining leadership of Kent County Council. And as you know, we took some seats off the Greens in other parts of the
Well, let's just have a look at what some of the other Conservatives have said post-elections. The Conservative leader of Worthing Council, for instance, saying that people here in the South East don't take too kindly to all the talk about levelling up the North. He's got a point, hasn't he? And they suffered there in Worthing as a consequence.
Well, he'd have the point.
With your permission, can I bring the politicians in?
Sure.
Great. Lloyd, lots of people probably enjoying the cafe culture, maybe not over the last few days because of the weather, but generally in places like Brighton. And I know, Tom, Tonbridge is my hometown. It's where I grew up. It is come on leaps and bounds in terms of the food and drink culture there. It's fantastic. Let's start with you in Brighton, Lloyd. What needs to be done to make sure that people like Jem can access her town and that we can still eat and drink? Because probably people still want to eat and drink outside for a while.
Well, we promised it 2 years ago.
Lloyd, hold that thought, because we've only got a minute or so left, and I do want to just give Tom a chance to talk about this as well. Jem's real concern isn't, she hasn't mentioned, perhaps she is concerned about pavement parking, but it's about these, the cafe culture.
Well, she did mention it, actually.
Okay.
She mentioned it in relation to cycle lanes.
Right,
but yes,
OK.
Yeah.
But let's give Tom a chance to address the other concern, which is the spilling out of the cafe culture. The extension of these pavement licences has been granted for another 12 months. Where's the balance here for people like Jem, as well as everybody else who wants to use that facility?